had a little trouble getting pregnant with Isaac. Maybe took us a year and a half, but he was born, and when he was a little under 2, we decided to start trying again, and I could not get pregnant. And then I think the impetus, talking with you, was I had a miscarriage when Isaac was about 2.5. And it was devastating because I'd tried for so long to get pregnant, and it was devastating. So I'd gone into our doctor. We had Kaiser at the time, and our doctor was like, oh, I was like, I think something's off with my hormones, like maybe you could test progesterone or something. And they said, no, sorry, like we can give you birth control, that might help. Or the other thing they said was, maybe your husband can take you to Mexico, like that works for a lot of people. So I was extremely frustrated with anything medical after that. I was like, okay, these doctors don't really want to help me. I think the hardest part was just that I was so focused on wanting another child. I think it was hard for me to enjoy what I had because I was so devastated that I couldn't get pregnant again. So it was actually a relief to work with you. I appreciated that you were such a calm presence. I felt like you never pushed me to do anything. I felt like you knew a lot and you had a lot to offer. And especially compared to my experience with the doctor, who all they could offer me was birth control. I felt like you just had like all this information that was helpful, like eat more leafy greens, like that could help your... I remember the first thing you told me, I was like, I hadn't eaten breakfast for probably at least 12 years because breakfast never made me feel good. And you said, well, you don't have to eat cereal for breakfast. Like you can eat whatever you want for breakfast. You could eat like guacamole and like meat for breakfast. And that was maybe like the biggest thing initially, was like, oh, I need to start eating breakfast again. And it doesn't have to be something gross that doesn't make me feel good. I felt like I'd always eaten really healthy. Like I would wake up and have my sourdough toast, and like I thought I was doing a good job. We'd have a smoothie and a salad for lunch. And the thing that made the biggest difference was eating lots of protein in the morning. So my blood sugar was regulated, but that was like, I'd never heard that before. And I think that was 10 years ago we worked together, and I still eat that way and I feel great most of the time. So after, I don't know, at least a decade of feeling awful as a teenager, young adult, and then for about 3 years feeling awful as a new mom, like eating protein in the morning.
So one small shift can make such a big difference.
Yeah, it was huge. And I just spent almost a whole year on rest and recuperation and nourishing myself. I got pregnant with my second child, John. And one thing that was interesting was I had a hard pregnancy with John, as far as I had a progesterone shots a couple times a week. So I think that made me feel pretty sick. So I wasn't exactly very nourished during my pregnancy, but I was able to bounce back so much quicker that second time, even though the pregnancy was hard and I wasn't exactly my healthiest. And I just think the different way of nourishing myself made such a difference. And one of the biggest things that happened was I got pregnant with Ezra without even trying, which was for as many years as we tried to get pregnant with, well, Isaac and then John, we were in complete shock that we got pregnant with Ezra without even trying. And I think that's such a testament to the fact that my body was in such a good place and that I was continuing to nourish it in the way that you taught me. The biggest difference, aside from fertility changes, was I had energy. And like I said, I'd felt awful for years. So having energy to give back to my family and being able to get out of bed in the morning was completely different. And just eating tons of protein in the morning and eating vegetables with every meal. But it really was life-changing. I feel so much energy 99% of the time after decades of not feeling good. Okay. It's like I feel like I'm able to put more energy into being a mom and then into my business and driving my kids everywhere because I do have energy. I think one thing that was so amazing about your approach is that it's gentle. It's putting your body in the state it needs to be in to get pregnant. And I've had a number of friends who've done IVF and ended up with late losses, unfortunately. And I don't know exactly the stories, but I wonder like how much of it their body really wasn't in a position to be pregnant. And it's so hard to see that with friends, see people wounded in that way. Yeah, okay, so I have 3 boys. Isaac is 13. He's just a fun oldest child. Best way to describe him. He's very motivated to try new things. He's really into dirt biking this week. John is my next. He just turned 8 and is going into 3rd grade. And he's our like very sweet kid. He's always open to come and snuggle up to us, and he's also very active. He's usually throwing a football. And then Ezra is 5.5, and he's our crazy youngest child. He has tons of energy and a really fun sense of humor. So those are my kids. He has some buddies he's been friends with for years, this family of kids. They finished school today and they came and knocked on the door and picked him up, and it was one of his friends who was driving, who was extremely responsible, but it was kind of a first for us, like, oh my gosh, he's going off with his friends, like no parents. It really takes into account the whole person.
What's ironic is I feel like I knew nothing then, and now I'm like, gosh, what I know now could get anything pregnant.
Don't do any more water fights right now.